he's Samuel, and together we are Dystopia game. So our journey starts in September, so we're quite fresh. But prior to that, we've been working together for Goblin Games, and we developed together Scrum Showdown with a couple of other people that are here today. After that experience, we decided to form this group because we found that we work really well together, and we had some great outcomes already, even though we just started. So we are currently making a project for the Northampton Council, but we're going to dive into that a bit more later. And we also got a interview from Greatest Hits Radio, which was a great opportunity as well to kind of talk about who we are, what we're doing, and why we're doing. And I am a game designer. I recently graduated here, and my job is like to do narrative design, level design, and most importantly, communicate with Samuel.
More programming aspect, make sure everything works, but also working on a couple of other VR hand tracking projects for the university themselves, so a couple of other games that you might see later this year.
Yeah. So our current project, well, firstly, still a little bit more about us. We decided to delve into different projects and to remain flexible because of our commitment. So Samuel, for example, is working kind of full time because you work 2 jobs at the moment.
Well, half the time split with the research part, and half the jobs, half time is just part-time jobs, just a bit of income, but it leaves very little time to kind of focus purely on this at the moment, but hopefully that will change.
And I used to work full time in a previous job as a residential carer, but I noticed that it was kind of draining, so I decided to follow my passion. And I made the brave decision to step back a little bit, to refocus, because this is where I want to be. And we've been finding it a bit difficult in the industry, so this is our chance to kind of say, hey, we're here, we're talented, and we're passionate. And yeah, so these are our current projects. First thing first is the Blue Ribbon case. This is going to be a mobile app that is going to use augmented reality, and it's going to be a scavenger hunt in Northampton. And it's going to be flexible because we're not going to just limit it in Northampton. We're essentially going to create a template so that we can create different stories and different chapters or different cases or different adventure for different places. So it could be Northampton, it could be a smaller area more like the university and the Abbey, it could be somewhere else in the UK. So we want to keep it flexible and open. It's going to be on mobile, so tablet, iPad or smartphone. And it's going to be accessible for everyone because we wanted to make it fun for all ages, so to younger kids, to older adults, and this is why it's going to be flexible because it's going to have different package. So this case, for example, is going to be more of a mystery game, so we are aiming for an audience that is more teenager adults rather than younger kids. But nothing's going to stop us to make it more accessible for them too. And accessible as well because, as you mentioned before in your project, and it's brilliant, it's really important to make it accessible for people. Myself, I am visually impaired. I only have 4% of my eyesight, and Samuel has double vision. So we're also going to take in consideration all these aspects when it comes to scanning in the area, spawning the objects, making sure that the text is readable, and most importantly, audio cues for people who like me struggle to see. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the geolocation and how it works?
There's not much on it. Essentially, it's just keeping, or as you progress, it will kind of make sure you're in the right area. So you can say you're on this, as the original, our standard one moment is you're tracking down this killer. You're going to try to find out where he has gone, and there's left clues. So in the case of, you might start off at the university, for example, and within this area, so it will check this area, and then you might go to kind of roam the campus, and suddenly you've got a clue pop up. It will lead you to another place, and it's a bit more of, you don't just kind of stay in one spot. You're constantly engaging. You'll be able to see the city. You're able to kind of a bit more than just kind of stand and just press buttons on your phone. whilst also, because it's location based, there are geolocation games such as Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter, it's called. Point is, they're very, you walk and you play, they're quite hazardous, you're only going to walk on streets. This isn't you're glued to your phone, it'll be a case of you look at your phone, you kind of do your clues, and then you can put it in your pocket safely, carry on walking to the next area, and you don't have to worry about any kind of hazards that might
Exactly. So once you reach the area, you're then going to press a search button, and it's going to spawn an object or a clue. And we also take into consideration like roadworks and people and buildings, because those things change during time, so we're taking in consideration. And then we have our next project, which is an investigative game. We're still working on the title because this is a very fresh project and prototype, but essentially is a cyber noir investigation game.
Which is some gameplay last we talked. So this one's a bit more further down the line. We've got a bit more of the assets, we've got starting to get some of the layout, we've got more of a diegetic menu, we've got everything. Later you'll see the case, so you'll start to see victim names, occupations, stuff that you can piece together what your victims are and kind of start to get motives eventually as you get more clues.
Yeah, and it's going to be puzzle-based, dialogue-based, and essentially when you interact with NPCs or interrogating characters and suspects, you will be able to kind of step out in the conversation and kind of analyze the body language or details that they're going to have. Or, as well, depending on how you talk to them, they're going to increase or decrease the relationship. So they're going to be more collaborative or less collaborative, depending on how you treat them.
So, as you see here, there'll be branching dialogue, so you can.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of full.
No, it is.
Oh, it has. Yeah, so pause. You'll have different branching narratives, so as you interact with them, you might tell them to, well, you don't really care about them, and suddenly they're no longer willing to give you any advice, they might not give you any clues, they might not, some of them they might not follow you as a companion. It can start, the way you interact with them will impact how easy your experience will be with this. You might need to find more clues if you're not willing to interact with people you're with.
And later on, we're also planning to have some action, so actually like shooting or helping some people. So depending on the situation, that's definitely down the line. So it breaks a little bit the monotony of puzzles, interrogation, puzzle, interrogation.
Just a quick look at very early development, but just a bit of what we've currently got as some puzzles. Skip it, like that. So this is more of a, we want with like file systems, so with you being a detective, as much as sci-fi and cyberpunk, you're still quite old school, you still like pen and paper, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's the case of when you find these clues, you want to write them down manually, or it might be a case of you just kind of, when you're organising stuff, you want to document certain parts. And just a quick look at what we've starting to have as more of a letter recognition system, so you can start to write it in. As you'll see, it will pick up actually what you write, and if you get further on, skipping it through. It doesn't really matter where you write it from, you can stop from the top. It does recognise what you're writing, so you can carry on. But you can carry on just kind of writing, it will pick up as you go.
Yeah, so, and that's like the first puzzle that we're starting working on. Like, the scene is going to start like you receive a call, you got the case. I'm not getting into detail because otherwise it's spoiler. But essentially, you're going to start interacting with object as like a tutorial to get you used to the mechanics. And then when it comes to actual small action, we wanted to make it interactive. So it's not just grab and do this, but we want you to like draw or manually interact with objects, combining them. So it's going to be a little bit more interactive. And then what we have next. So we are going to be presenting or talking about the AR project Merge Future, because we had a talk with the council and they're happy to like give us a spot to talk a bit more about us and the project. And hopefully by then we're going to have something ready to be tested, or at least to show a bit better. And currently we are also going to develop Brighton. We're going to be there for the Expo. We're just going to be there to make a bit of connection, but hey, if you're there and want to stop and have a chat, you know, you're going to be there. And the possible plans for the future, definitely be in contact with the university, because it's great to have the support and working together, start building a bit more of a community with local studios, and definitely taking part to other projects and game jams, so we're quite flexible with that.
As it stands as well, we are in talks with some Year 3 artists as well to kind of collaborate, give them a bit of experience, just kind of give them a way to expand their portfolio, get some assets, and to get their name out.
Hopefully in the future we can also offer a little bit more of opportunity for students to collaborate with us, because as you can tell, I'm just a designer, Samuel is just a programmer. We're missing a little bit on the art side, so it would be great to take on some some students to give them their experience. So currently we only had one slot and has already been taken, but who knows, in the future we might be open for more. And that's us. So we already have a LinkedIn page where we're going to post our updates, so please feel free to follow us, drop us a message, we will reply. And if you also want to get in contact with us a little bit more professionally, we also have an email address, so please feel free to contact us, and we'll meet up. Thank you.